What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Shayla, and here today joining me is my wonderful husband, Rodney.
Big Daddy.
I wanted to do a series on relationships, all the things that we've kind of come to know and understand over the last 11, almost 12 years of marriage, 4 kids.
Yeah.
It's crazy out here. So let's go ahead and jump right in. You guys are in for a real treat.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So I want to address the newlywed season. So I'm gonna throw the question to the guest first. Babe, what is something that you learned in our newlywed season?
We'll probably talk about this a little bit more in detail later, but one of the things that I learned was we don't all deal with or handle conflict the same way, right? So I'm a bit more straightforward. Hey, let's deal with it, especially because I have to sleep with you and live with you. The last thing I want to do is pretend like something's not wrong when something is clearly wrong. But I think that we had different approaches to how we dealt with conflict. So I learned in that season, and what that leads you to is you don't know each other the way you think you really do.
Facts.
Because if you can't have conflict in a healthy way, or if you're learning how to deal with conflict with one another, that's an indication you really don't know that person as well as you think you do. So that led to a whole other discovery. Who are you? Where do you come from?
Yeah,
what
and
planet do you live on?
I think too, with that being said, there are certain things when you're dating and when you're engaged, you're in kind of that oh, I'm so enamored with you phase, especially because we got married so young. I'll speak for myself. I was immature. I was very immature. And to a degree.
Hey, she said it.
To a degree, he was too, but yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I think, just having to, what's the right word? I guess navigate some of my own emotions and coming to an understanding of knowing who I was as a person had a lot to do with our relationship.
Yeah.
And so and the thing too about being in that newlywed season, there are a lot of people that will give you marriage advice. You can be like, oh yeah, okay, I know that, but it doesn't really make a difference until you actually get married, and it's like, oh, I see what you're talking about now.
You gotta play the game. It's like, I like boxing, so you could talk about boxing, you can watch boxing all day, but until you are actually sparring or until you're actually in the ring, it's like this is what it really means to do this. But I wanted to say this about the newlywed season too is, it's really a new level of vulnerability that you have to lean into. A part of what makes any relationship healthy is vulnerability, and vulnerability only comes out of trust. So, but in the marriage, trust is earned, but trust has to also be given.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's other relationships where it's trust has to be completely earned. I don't really have to trust you at all. But I think in the context of marriage, man, you have to say, you know what? I'm going to give you this trust, and therefore I'm going to make myself vulnerable to you. And man, that's where the nitty gritty happens. That's where you really begin to learn and grow in the context of relationships. So.
Yeah. And if you're not mature, it makes it all the much, more difficult. And because that was me, let me tell you, if you should definitely take a road towards dealing with the trust issues that you have, whether it be, from previous relationships that you've had, whether it be, your family relationships. A lot of people, they have this childhood trauma and they don't trust people. And it definitely has a part to play, in the marriage relationship.
And that'll make you or break you, man. If you can push through that together, that can really create greater intimacy, because you both have now reached a new level of vulnerability and you've reached a new level of intimacy. And that's what creates a healthy, thriving relationship. We're going to talk about sex a little bit too. You can have sex but not be intimate.
Right.
Sex is not the highest form or the highest level of intimacy. Sex is significant, has significant impact on your mental, your emotional, and even your body, your physical well-being. But intimacy, man, is because there's couples having sex, but they're not intimate. Right. But intimacy takes vulnerability, and vulnerability takes a level of trust. And that level of trust has to be earned, but at the same time, given or extended. So. And
I was gonna say too, we were talking with a newly married couple, last week?
Yeah.
Or the week before. Shout out to, you know who you are.
You
watching
know
this.
who you are.
But one of the things that she said was like, I just feel very lonely. And I think that that's a very real emotion, like going through the change from being single to being married.
Yeah.
It's a new level, and it's like you have this person that you're now living with, and I'm married to them. They see me all the time. I can't get away. But and I don't want to tell them that I'm struggling with like the adjustment.
That vulnerability.
Right. So it's like I'm not being vulnerable, and I'm scared because what if I say this and then they don't like me anymore, they don't want to be married to me anymore, and so that season of, I guess, loneliness is very common. So if you are going through that, know that you are not alone. And know that it's okay to talk to your partner about this. I always say, like, it's important. A lot of people do premarital counseling. I say that you need to do premarital counseling and then do like at least a year, continue like with marriage counseling, because that's something that I wish we would have done.
Yeah.
For sure. It would have tremendously helped us in the beginning, but yeah. Yeah,
and I think too, man, that dispels the misnomer that somehow marriage is going to fix everything. If I just get married, I won't be lonely anymore. I'll be happy. I'll be satisfied. Man, that is false. Marriage forces you to confront things that you necessarily don't want to confront, things that make you uncomfortable. And so here again, you can be in an intimate relationship, but still feel lonely. Why? Is it because of your spouse, or is it because of what's going on internally inside of you? So leaning into vulnerability will actually help you to not feel lonely. But as long as you want to fight to keep those secrets close to your chest, or keep those insecurities close, not verbalize them or speak them out loud, it's going to be tough, because your spouse is not a psychic.
Right.
Your partner is not a psychic. Like, that was the biggest frustration for me. I used to be like,
yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second though.
Like, how do I get in there? Because I don't know what's going on. I'm a talker. She doesn't really talk like that. Amen. I talk for the both of us and more. Anyway.
Yeah, but and that's hiding is overrated. So get past take the leap of being expressive, saying what you think without being combative or what's the right word? Not defensive, but aggressive. You can express maybe issues or feelings or emotions that you're having without unhealthy conflict, I'll say, because conflict is healthy.
Yeah.
It can be healthy, which actually would lead us into the next topic, which is the struggle season.
Yeah, it's real.
Yes, the struggle is real for sure.
Next time on Junk Drawer Mom.
That was me, and I would just let it build up until all of a sudden I just can't take it anymore, and then I just implode and just have this emotional breakdown, and then he's mad because it's like, I was asking you.
Oh yeah, I would be like,
what
there's
was
no
wrong?
sympathy, all that crying. I don't care about the crying now. And it would always be conveniently at night, right when I'm about to go to sleep. That's when
because
I was like,
they say you're not supposed to go to bed mad
nah,
with each other.
bro.